Gongchik, Statement 9. All possible knowable phenomena perform the Buddha's actions. So, knowable phenomena, a technical Buddhist term. That means everything. Knowable phenomena. So everything perform the Buddha's enlightened activities, exalted activities. So this is no different from the statement before. Same idea, except that the statement before, I think, like, to distinguish, right, the statement before, which says that Buddha's mind even can take the shape, so to say, Buddha's mind, Buddha's wisdom mind, Buddha's wisdom mind can even kind of manifest in the way that looks like it is teaching nihilism or eternalism. These two being continuously, right, criticized, warned as the two extremes that we should avoid falling into. Statement 8 says, but as for Buddha mind, because it is so completely, right, free and no longer implicated, no longer involved with confusion, even with these two otherwise dangerous positions of eternalism and nihilism, Buddha wisdom mind have a way to work with those things, to work with those ideas. So that in that sense, even the philosophies that are based on eternalism and nihilism understand that Buddha's wisdom mind is able to even use those extreme positions to lead beings out of confusion. So this, one of the implications of this is that even though, it is good to have conviction, especially conviction about the Dharma, conviction about, right and clear understanding of the various points related to the Buddha Dharma. Even though it is good, right, to have conviction and to recognize and say, that, doesn't matter, that, whoever said that, that's a wrong view. That's right view. Even though it's good to have that kind of conviction. But don't go further than that, which is to begin to look down on and to be dogmatic and to say no way whatsoever, that kind of idea can lead to any good. Always remember that however mistaken an idea or view, Buddhists have a way to work with that. Which then says to us, is there a way that I can work with that and turn it around and make it a skillful position? Yeah? So it's not just about what Buddhas can do. It's knowing what Buddhas can do, even with the most wrong view. And between eternalism and nihilism, it says nihilism is more dangerous. But even with nihilism, knowing that Buddhas can even work with that, then when we encounter nihilistic views or positions, first, good to see that's nihilistic, or the way it is interpreted the way it is said, the way it is understood, that is nihilistic. Okay, good. But we can try to take the next step, which is now, however, how can we, even with this nihilistic position, how can we skillfully turn that around and make it a Buddha instruction? Which I think it's also a way of saying, like, don't recognize, what is negative, recognize what is the cause of suffering, but don't then turn into fixating on suffering and the cause of suffering. See that Buddha's wisdom mind can reach down to even something like that. 7-8. So 7-9 takes us into less in the realm of like ideas, in the realm of theory, in the realm of teachings, but more generally, Buddha activities, the Buddha's awakened activities can be done, can occur in all kinds of situations and scenarios. This is in response to those people who said, Buddha activities only and exclusively appear in Buddha-like ways. Now that position, generally speaking, I think we can appreciate that position, that wrong position that statement 9 is addressing. Which is to say, it's good to generally say, if it is Buddha activities, meaning activities to benefit beings, it needs to have the semblance of actually benefiting beings. At least, of course, more than the semblance, it needs to have the reality that it is benefiting beings. So again, we can appreciate, those who say, Buddha activities necessarily, will occur in the form of Sambhogakaya manifestations or Nirmanakaya manifestations. But here, Kyobpa is saying also, but not limited to just what we would say classically Buddha manifestations. In fact, Buddhas can even manifest inanimate objects in order for them to help beings. And Buddhas can manifest as what you don't expect. Even as like, negative beings to that degree. Which is what statement 9 is saying. So many places in the sutras and tantras, you have examples given on how Buddhas will manifest, even as a robber, as a butcher, as a demon, in order to get close to sentient beings, particular sentient beings, and to work with them and to lead them out of confusion. So then, of course, this makes it kind of challenging for us. What is or what isn't Buddha activity? But it doesn't need to be that challenging, I think. As in, first of all, we don't need to go, you don't need to feel, you don't need to think, that now that you have taken the Bodhisattva vow, you have to go mind everyone's business. So first of all, you don't need to go mind everyone's business. Yeah, you don't need to go mind everyone's business, meaning have an opinion. You don't need to have an opinion on anyone and everyone who is doing this or that, or Buddhist teachers doing this or that, or not doing this or that. You don't need to have, You don't need to feel like, it's your business now, right? To go figure out, to go judge, or to go verify, is or is not, So first of all, that, right? Then secondly, you could say the test is in the tasting, right? So meaning, yeah, see, is there some good coming out of that particular occurrence? If there is, then for that person, that occurrence is a Buddha activity. If there isn't, then for that person, that same occurrence is not a Buddha activity. And that's sufficient, But mainly the first one, like you don't need to think, okay, now I have to go mind everyone's business. Yeah. Anyway, so the commentary here. Moreover, it is not so that these kinds of skillful manifestations of the Buddha, his immeasurable, inconceivable activities, are only good appearances and do not appear in inferior ways according to the dispositions of tameable beings. Since all the good and bad of all possible knowable phenomena appear, they perform the Buddha's actions or activities. Buddha performs his activities in all the various ways by appearing as Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, hearers, self-realized Buddhas, or Brahma. From Brahma on down to outcasts, butchers, prostitutes, upholders of extreme views, birds, herbivorous animals, and so forth, or material objects such as boats, bridges, or food. So Buddha activities can appear in all forms, animate and inanimate, easily recognizable as beneficial and including what we might think as harmful. It should be understood, for example, as it is said in the sutra taught by Vimalakirti, that the Buddha liberated immeasurable sentient beings through incense and food. Even inanimate things like incense and food. And it is said in the sutra, Manjushri, furthermore, in this Buddha realm, whichever other upholders of extreme views appear, the Mimamsakas and the Parivrajjakas, they are also the blessings of the Tathagata and should be understood as being the inconceivable objects of skillful means. So this is a very broad, very vast and extensive view. At the very least, it should cut through, intolerance towards differences. It is like it is said in the Noble Summary and so forth. All the Dharma that the listener disciples of the victorious one teach, what they explain and pronounce with reasoning, when they bring others to supreme or superior happiness, or when they attain the result of that, i.e. arhatship, all those are the powers of the Tathagata in person. So, more so, don't look down on those who have achieved the state of arhat and those following the path of arhatship. Even though, with regards to, us having taken Bodhisattva vow, we don't want to go in the direction of the limited scope of only thinking about our own liberation. So that we should protect against, but we should not look down or denigrate those who are working on clearing their own confusion and taking the limited way. Moreover, the reasoning is as stated by Rigzin Chodra. It is said in the Essence of Secrets, the three realms are primordially Buddha, and all phenomena completely without exception are nothing other than Buddha. A phenomenon that is something other than Buddha cannot be found even by the Buddha. There is also this kind of greatly amazing speech. So Chodra, quotes this one quote that says, ultimately too, all of this is primordially pristine. And so in that sense, anything, everything is workable, right? Is workable. But Buddha activities come from Buddha wisdom, so don't forget that either. This is not saying, any and all kinds of behavior. You should not, create suffering and then call it Buddha activity. Well, Chodra says, it's all Buddha activity. So the mess I just created, it's Buddha activity. Not like that, okay? This is not saying that. This is saying that, when the Buddha's wisdom mind is working, then nothing is not workable. Nothing is not workable. So this is 7-9. Moreover, Buddhahood means to become a Buddha in the even nature, the actual reality or suchness of all phenomena without bias in terms of direction or kind. Therefore, Jigten Sumgon maintains that one needs to become a Buddha in terms of the entire pervasive extent of the absolute space of phenomena. Other than this, one should not grasp at estimations of Buddhahood with bias in terms of direction or kind. It is said in the Sutra, Brahma, a Tathagata, does not partially awaken to fully complete Buddhahood with delimited perception. The Tathagata impartially awakens to fully complete Buddhahood through equality of all phenomena and without delimited perception. So, okay, again you say, this is kind of strange, like what's going on? Here it's saying, and this is in response to, but a particular, I guess you could say, situation or interpretation or problem that might arise among certain people, particularly the people who are maybe followers of Mahayana, Vajrayana tradition. Because in Vajrayana, Mahayana, we like to talk about a lot. Amitabha is the Buddha in the Western Pure Land, Akshobhya is the Buddha in the Eastern Pure Land, and this Buddha is in that Pure Land, and that Buddha is in that Pure Land. So it led to, believe it or not, some Tibetans thinking, the Buddha in the Western Pure Land, that's like his territory, and he can only function there. And then Akshobhya is in this his territory is in the East. And he only functions there. And this is there, and this is there, And Guru Rinpoche is in the copper-colored mountain, and Milarepa is in Akshobhya's land, and so on and so forth, Then people start to think, that they're only limited to that. Now, you might think, how strange that these people think like this. But what is our version of strangeness relating to this issue? And this is particularly a problem among Vajrayana people, because we have so many embodiments of the awakened ones, right? So then we think, Jambala. Jambala is only about wealth and abundance. Tara is only, it's about, saving people from suffering. Avalokiteshvara is compassion. Manjushri is wisdom. Medicine Buddha is healing. Gurukule is attraction. As if they are only limited to those areas. But no, Jigten Sumgon says, a Buddha achieves Buddhahood in all time and space without limit. Even if we conventionally say, oh, Buddha Shakyamuni is Buddha of our world, Amitabha is the Buddha of the Western Pure Land. But when Buddha Shakyamuni attained Buddhahood, he attained Buddhahood in all places. When Amitabha attained Buddhahood, Amitabha attained Buddhahood in all places without limit. There is no limit or specialization the way that we might think of, oh, this Buddha specializes in that, that Buddha specializes in that. Yeah. So it says, Khenpo Kunpal continues, likewise, even one Tathagata completely displays pure and impure realms and boundless Buddha activities within each particle among all the subtle particles of the realms that pervade space. And so this really vast and, almost incomprehensible vastness and thoroughness. However, the particles do not become coarser and the realms do not become smaller. It is like the way in which the Tathagata shows Buddha activities and inconceivable magical displays, which is extensively taught in the sutras and tantras of the definitive meaning, such as the ornaments of the Buddha Sutra. So this is 710. So today we will stop here, and then we have 5 more statements. 5 more statements, and then we have completed this book. The recordings for the Gongchik portion can be found in the Drikung Dharmakirti YouTube channel. So if you want to go back and check with some of this, some of the different statements that we've covered, you can find them all there. Then on Wednesday, this past Wednesday, during Drikung Dharmakirti, on Wednesday night during the teachings, I covered a topic that I think is good and helpful. We had a nice discussion about the right way to think of, when we say practice, what are we talking about? We tend to think that, this is practice, right? Either 10-day Vipassana retreat, meditating the mind, or, accumulating mantras, doing pujas, going on pilgrimage, all of that. Of course, all those things are. But those things are special methods. Methods to do what? Methods to heighten, speed up, make more effective the main work. So the main work has to be there. So I use the example of flour, water needs to be there. Then yeast can cause this flour and water and salt to produce, to rise and become bread. We make the mistake of thinking yeast is bread. Yeast is not bread. So the analogy here is yeast is what we conventionally call practice. But real practice, the main body of the practice is in our day-to-day lives. But not just ordinary day-to-day lives, but you have to live your day-to-day life really being informed by Dharma. I think there was a question. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Lu.
Ah,
Could you tell me, please, why did you say on Vajasalva practice that hope and fear keep us in samsara? I can understand fear, but why did you say hope?
when you hope, you have fear. Oh, I hope I get this, that, oh, but maybe I won't get.
Like the counterpart?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
once one is here, the other one will not go somewhere else.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah, hope, you know. Obama's hope has led to fears now. Hope, you know. Yeah, the bigger the hope, the bigger the fear.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, cut through both hope and fear, you know. The opposite is not hopelessness. And the opposite is not, you know, foolish bravery. The opposite is cut through hope and fear. Hope is based on, you know, please, 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 maybe, maybe, you know. Not trusting cause and effect, we have to hope. Not trusting cause and effect, we end up hoping. Yeah? Not trusting cause and effect, we end up fearing. But trusting and knowing cause and effect, no need anymore hope or fear. If I have to die now, well, that's cause and effect. If I have to die next week, cause and effect. Cause and effect doesn't mean fate. Cause and effect means I can do something. But then I'll do something. Will the effect come as quickly as I want? That cannot control. Then you trust, you know, cause and effect. Then you can minimize hope and fear. Vajrasattva's blessings is to give us the clarity of not needing hope or fear. So if you have access to that recording, or if we can, you know, maybe edit that recording that I was talking about on this past Wednesday, it'll be good to listen to that. So page 10, the dedication. Sublime, precious, venerable, and glorious root and lineage gurus, assembly of Idam deities, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas dwelling in the 10 directions, and all assemblies of Viras, Viranis, Yoginis, and Dakinis, please heed me. May the virtues collected in the 3 times by me and the entirety of samsara and nirvana and the inherent root of virtue not result in the 8 worldly dharmas, the 4 causes of samsara, and the resultant states of hearers and solitary realizers. And may all mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, particularly those enemies who hate us, obstruct us, who harm those who create obstacles, maras who mislead, and their Mara retinues have happiness, be separated from suffering, and quickly attain the unsurpassed, perfect, and precious Bodhi. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may we benefit sentient beings with body, speech, and mind. May the afflictive thoughts of attachment, aversion, ignorance, pride, and jealousy not arise in my mind stream. May thoughts of name, fame, gain respect and so forth in this life, not arise for even a moment. With my mind stream moistened by love, compassion, and bodhicitta, may I become a virtuous spiritual friend with good qualities limitless as space. May I achieve the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life by the virtues collected in the 3 times by me and the entirety of samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain the unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious Bodhi. Bye bye, Tata.